everybody, and welcome back to Axion Token channel. Hope you guys are having a good time. Don't forget, grab yourself a drink. We're going to have a good hangout chat about Pulsechain. It is this week, from what we can tell, all things going according to plan. It is this week. I've even seen some people say 72 hours. We'll see. It's definitely something that's going to be coming this week from the looks of it, unless something, delays it from Richard's side. Software can be a funny thing. Getting things, all the ducks in a row, can be a funny thing. But it looks like this week, folks, I'm very excited. Get yourself ready. This is a great place to hang out, of course, to talk about Pulsechain. We're going to be following Pulsechain for a long time to come on this channel. It is a big deal, and certainly the most I heard someone say the most exciting thing this year, and I think so for sure. It's going to be certainly a lot of fun going in there. Hey, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, smash that like button. Obviously, hit the bell for further videos, of course, especially if you like Pulse content, if you like CD, certificate deposits, Hex, Axion, Wise, DeFi projects, Aave, Compound, all that sort of stuff. Get onto this chat and join us here. We're going to be talking about a lot of those things over the next few weeks and months ahead. It's going to be pretty awesome fun. It's going to be a lot of awesome journey as well, and the journey is part of the thing, right? Journey's also part of the excitement. So if you were ever in the Hex launch, it was super exciting. If you were in any of these launches originally, they are a lot of fun. And man, sometimes time slows down, sometimes time speeds up depending on what event's happening in the ecosystem. So awesome stuff. Get into the chat, say hello. Really appreciate the community vibe. That is number one as we go on this journey together. It's going to be really exciting. So let's quickly get into it. I'm going to go into the comments to see who's arrived, and I hope you guys are having a good time. Let me just check the audio, make sure I haven't been talking to myself. Yeah, the audio sounds good, so looking good there. Hey, we've got Ken Homestead in the chat. Sacrifice, absolutely sacrifice. It's pretty soon this week from the looks of it. So we're going to double check that tweet that we talked about in the previous video yesterday, and we're going to look at do a bit of update around the whole Pulsechain ecosphere. There's been a couple of good videos too on YouTube. Check those out as well. And so I think that's pretty cool, and good to see Ken in there for sure. And Justin Davis here. Justin Davis is here, so we'll mark that down. And Frosty Dog, good evening, Frosty Dog. And awesome stuff there. Frosty Dog says, sacrificing my best baby calf. Hilarious. That's awesome stuff. So yeah, people are going to sacrifice lots of different stuff to this. Although I must say, calves were originally old, that sort of Old Testament stuff, sacrificing, was it sheep, was it? Maybe calves, I don't know. Baby calf, yeah. So that's the way you go. Hey, what I was going to say was that I have officially launched yesterday memberships on Axion Token channel to help support the growth and obviously push out not only Axion as a certificate of deposit and wrap Bitcoin divs, but also everything about crypto that's good, DeFi, Pulsechain, Hex, Wise, all those stuff that I just mentioned earlier. These are the real value, I think, in DeFi, and that's the ones I want to push, the stuff that's really good. So it's going to be a lot of fun going ahead. So if you want to look up at a membership, check them out. We've got 4 different memberships: Axionites, Elites, Hero, and Krakens. Man, there's a lot of Krakens in there. Get in there. I've got 9 so far, so I'm waiting for number 10. So you could be number 10. That's a pretty magical number. So hit that up. Check out the memberships on the channel under the join button on the homepage there, or under any video like this one that you're watching now. All right, let's get straight into it. So here we are on the actual Pulsechain website. Now you can find all these links in the video description. These are the official links, but always double check. It doesn't matter, even if you're getting the links from this site, always double check that you got the right links, because as we talked about yesterday, scammers are out there. We've already seen that, and we're going to show you exactly what we mean by scammers are out there, and they are bold and they are not nice people. So we're going to check that out later in the video, but do look at that. So here we are on pulsechain.com. And you can see that we've obviously got this. I'm going to do this quick intro just for beginners. So if you're really familiar with Pulsechain, this might, be something you've seen many times. But just for people who are new, basically Pulsechain has got, it's going to be a fork of Ethereum. It's going to be more than that. It's going to be a system state, which means that it's going to have all the ERC20s copied over, and that means this is going to be the biggest airdrop in history. So a lot of people have got ERC20s on the Ethereum blockchain. You got Unicoin, Hex, and things like that on there. and a lot of people have obviously going to get free airdrop copies over into Pulsechain. So the first strategy is you do nothing and you've got that copy, and so you're going to double up. Obviously the price on Pulsechain is going to start from nothing, and so they're going to all be bid up. So obviously there's going to be different prices for those, and that's going to be an interesting place. That's why it's a real gold rush price discovery thing. So we're going to find out what those copies are worth. Now obviously underlying that copy is the Pulsechain itself. So let's check out some of the real cool things about that. And we can see that down the bottom here. Obviously, Pulsechain is going to increase the throughput of Ethereum. Okay, so obviously Ethereum faces a lot of congestion, and so it's going to be 4 times by using 3-second blocks as opposed to Ethereum's 13 seconds. So it's going to really help take away congestion, have super cheap pulse fees versus ETH on the ETH chain, and also it's going to have Pulse is going to have 0% inflation on the token itself. Validators will only earn fees, and 20% of fees are burnt to reduce the circulating supply. Not only that, but with Pulse token, people are going to be able to stake it to delegated validators and reward those delegators. Now, there isn't going to, from what I know, there's not going to be that many validators, maybe 20 or so, 21 or something. So we'll see how that plays out too. But basically, you're going to get the best performing ones and stake there. So that's the way that's going to roll. But really, the blockchain is going to be super cool, and it's going to be layer 1, which is really important. So it's not going to be like a layer 2 one where you don't own the coins, you don't own the keys, like Matic, for example, which is a great offering service, but you take on the added risk, which is typically quite significant, of not owning the coins, because you don't have the keys to the coins because it's on a second layer from Ethereum. So awesome stuff there. Right, so that's some of the stuff. Obviously, you're going to be able to use Metamask. You need a Metamask for the sacrifice. So remember that you need Metamask if you're going to do sacrifice. So the first phase is the sacrifice phase, and that's looking like this week. And then we're going to have the testnet from Pulsechain will go live probably similar time or just after. Then we're going to have the calibration at the end of that sacrifice phase. It'll be about 2 days calibrating the US dollar sacrifice. So it's going to be US dollars per pulse. So that's the way it's going to work. So it's really based on US dollars, not on Ethereum, etc. So just take that into account for the sacrifice phase. So it's really what we're talking about, that ratio, and we won't really know what that is until the end, and it's going to be based on time-weighted price. Now, obviously, you can use stable coins like US dollars, DAI, and stuff like that. That will have a fixed US dollar amount, and whereas the others will be, time-weighted price on non-stable coins. So that's important when you're going into the sacrifice. Then we're going to have a snapshot after the sacrifice period, and then we're going to have the launch of mainnet and price discovery and the gold rush. And obviously, the airdrop is going to be pretty epic too. So it's going to be a lot of fun, folks. A lot of fun. That's the journey. Hopefully, I gave that a pretty decent summary, and you can follow that as well. All right. Let's quickly get into. Don't forget also, I'm live feeding this on Twitch and DLive. Also going to go up on Odyssey and Minds. And I just got to update the actual place on there. Let's have quickly. Vince M says, will Axiom be duplicated on Pulsechain? We don't believe so. We know that it's 2 copies of Hex. And when we say copies, inverted quotes, 2 copies of Hex won't be on Pulsechain, and that's possibly Axiom and Wise. But we don't know that for certain until the actual launch. But that's what we expect at the moment. It hasn't been explicitly stated that I'm aware of. Maybe in some private chats, but not aware of any public statement on that. So not expecting it to. So an outside chance is the way I'd put it. We also know that a few other coins will not be like meme type coins, may not make the list, but it's going to be essentially the vast majority of ERC20s will be copied over. And that's the way we see it there. Justin Davis, I'm not trying to be a buzzkill. Remember, if you spend $1,000 sacrificing, you're $1,000 in the hole starting out. That's true. So that's a really good point. So when the first phase is going to be the sacrifice phase, which is looking to start this week, and we're going to check that tweet with Richard again. But once again, this is you're really backing Richard's genius. You're really backing what was behind Hex, the success of Hex, which pretty much had the best chart last year, and obviously still looking fantastic. And you're also backing the fact that this is going to be a full system state copy of Ethereum, and it's going to be run as a better operational chain. So it's still got the risk of operating as a chain. So it still needs to prove itself when it launches. You're obviously backing all that stuff of success to do it. So it's still highly speculative. So take that into account. Obviously, none of this is investment advice. You got to do your own due diligence. Obviously, this is just for entertainment and informational purposes, but basically, that's what's going to happen there. So it is, there's still a lot of those risks out there, but obviously, a lot of people are very excited about the opportunity, and really, it's backing on those sort of features. But really good idea. You are putting $1,000 in there or more, so whatever US dollar amount you are putting in there, you're supposed to expect nothing under the Howry rule, so that you just don't expect anything. And then eventually, you're going to have to, when you out the other side of the sacrifice in US dollars, you're going to get Pulse coin back, and you're going to have to mint that yourself, just like we did in Hex. That's to avoid the Howry rule stuff. So that's going to be interesting how that plays out. It's all going to be on this website, of course, so that's going to be really important to see. Alex K says that's correct. That's why some can just hold on to their Hex and keep both copies. That's right. So when the copies get over, you might, for example, Hex, which is sort of the golden child, will be on one chain. On the ETH chain, it'll be ETH Hex, and then it's going to be P Hex, right? Pulsechain Hex on the other chain, and so that Hex on the same, you can just leave it there. You don't actually have to sacrifice anything. You can play different strategies. So some people are going to do nothing. All they'll do is get the copies of their ETH over on Pulsechain. They won't enter the sacrifice phase, right? The sacrifice phase is really for people really wanting to get as much pulse as possible, because that's where most of the pulse is going to be issued. We know that the ETH ratio is going to be like 1 to 110,000. So that's going to be a copy on the ETH. So really the main game's in the sacrifice if you're after the main chain token, which is going to be, coin, sorry, which is going to be Pulse. So that's the way that's going to work. It's a bit like trying to become, putting up that capital as risk, trying to become a Pulse whale, just like people when they originally had the ETH launch, and you're trying to become an ETH whale, right? So you gave up Bitcoin and you tried to get, a whole ton of ETH for that. Obviously, those people are super duper, have done super duper well with that, and they're up thousands and thousands and thousands of percent. And that's really the game with Pulsechain. You're backing it on all that stuff. Richard's success with Hex, Richard's genius on these topics and stuff like that, as well as the ETH chain being superior, running superior. So hopefully that gives you some sort of general sense of it. So there are risks, but these are the sort of compelling reasons why people would be looking at it. So there's pros and cons. You need to do your own due diligence before investing any money in the sacrifice phase. Like I say, you can do nothing, just get your free copies on the Pulse chain, or you can try and play for the Pulse, and that's what a lot of people will be doing. So there we are, folks. Some good questions there. Appreciate that, Justin. And Alex says versions. Yep. Alex K says the use that PHEX to buy Pulse after the launch. Yeah, so some people will be doing that too. So there's a strategy of doing nothing. There's a strategy of going into sacrifice to get Pulse. So that's another one. That's an additional strategy. Then there's the idea of that you don't sacrifice anything. You just sit on the sidelines and you wait for Pulse to launch. And if it goes rockets and then pulls back, you can buy. You can buy at any point in there. Typically, people think that it will come back, and people will buy there, just like it did with the ETH launching, and then it starts to go up quite strongly after that. That's what I'm expecting to see, and that's what happened to the ETH as well when it launched. And so people will be trying to speculate on that, but that's speculation, right? You're speculating on there, trying to pull your bags up. So you don't have to put your USDC or any tokens into the sacrifice. You can just do that strategy and just wait till it launches, right? A lot of people will be trying to get into the sacrifice early and doing it that way. And obviously, we talked about the sacrifices earlier and bigger will be better. Rich has already said that, and so we're expecting that in the bonding curve to be the case. And maybe the first couple of days will be earlier, bigger, and earlier is better, right? Especially, obviously, stable coins will be fixed at their dollar amount, and obviously non-stable coins will be subject to the time-weighted price, right? Excuse me. And so that's how that's going to play out. Then we're going to have, so your ratio of USDC to Pulse is going to be probably better at that stage, because then after that we're expecting a penalized value in the bonding curve, which means that you'll get lower Pulse per US dollars sacrificed. That's what we're expecting in the later phase of that. But obviously we won't know that full bonding curve until the actual launch, which we're expecting this week, based on Richard's latest tweet. So hopefully that helps there. All right, the Frosty Dog says, what do we get for sacrificing? You're going to get Pulse coin is what we think we're going to be getting. That's the main coin there. I'm expecting that to be mintable, but once again, we'll know that when it comes up on the website. We're expecting a new page to come up here, a DApp to come up on here that we can interact with to do the sacrifice, and hopefully that will have all the gamification. I say hopefully, but we expect it to have all the gamification on there. The Sapper Justin Davis, so I bet each way. Remember, Pulse is designed to release at a price of 0. That's correct. So all the tokens going to be 0, and there's going to be price discovery on all ERC20, the Pulse versions of ERC20. So there'll be P-Uni, Pulse Uni, be obviously the Pulse coin itself, and all the tokens underneath it on the chain. But obviously the chain's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be super fast, and that's the thing. And it shouldn't face congestion for a long time to come. And obviously we're expecting a lot of DeFi and other stuff to come onto it to add that value and unsupport Pulse. Now, Richard's also talked about trying to constrain a lot of the economic energy coming over from Ethereum, for example, through a bridge that way, and coming into through the Pulse, so making Pulse more valuable by putting a lot more. Now we're talking about the mainnet side of it when Pulse launches, but forcing a lot of the economic energy through the Pulse token to get to the other tokens, that sort of stuff. So all that pairing stuff's going to be pretty important too. So yeah, and hey, welcome to Alex, of course. Alex is our head moderator on this channel. So good to see Alex in the house as usual. Big shout out. Justin Davis, I trust Richard Hart though, and that's one of the big things is obviously Richard Hart's reputation for, and obviously with Hex and other things that he's done. He was obviously a multi-millionaire when he was young, one of the first internet multi-marketers, and so that was a long time ago now. But really back early in the day, and so that's his lineage or his heritage, as it were, and so a lot of people are basing it on that. Obviously, Hex got the best chart in the last 12 to 18 months, that sort of thing. So, you know, I'm a Hex OG, so I was there at every moment during the journey. 2 years or 3 years before that, following Richard. Can't remember now; it's just becoming a foggy memory. But you know, been following Richard Hart for a long time, as well as a lot of other leading crypto personalities out there. Obviously, you tend towards certain camps, and I'm glad I tended towards Hex. And obviously, I've been a big community promoter for Axion as well. Axion offers wrapped Bitcoin dividends, so it's different again. So while some of these, they've got different code as well. So some of these have similar concepts at the beginning, but they evolve. You know, crypto projects just evolve out into their own thing, trying to find their own special value. Just like Wise, you know, Wise started as basic certificate deposit on Ethereum, but now it's got Wise B on Binance Smart Chain, and that offers BNB airdrops, 25,000 fixed. So that's an innovation. No one else does that. You know, we got $25,000 fixed. You get BNB airdrops every week, so you're fixed. You're secure. So even if the price of BNB goes up or down, and the price of Wise B goes up and down, you're always getting that fixed US dollar airdrop. It's brilliant, right? This is the gold nuggets of DeFi. That's why Pulsechain is just another one of those gold standard, what I call gold standard DeFi offerings, and they're the ones you want to chase because when the market goes down and the market goes up, you want to be in the best projects, right? It's particularly ones that hedge the value. They perform in both markets. Those are the ones you're really trying to chase down. All right, so nice one there. The dApps, hey, good to see you in the chat, by the way. And big shout out to Nathan Evans that's coming up here, one of our first members. Awesome stuff to see Nathan in there for sure. The depths, if in doubt, don't only do what don't only do what you are comfortable with. If you lose sleep over something, you have stepped too far. That's a good point. So don't spend in the sacrifice. Don't spend more than you are willing to lose. You know, you really need to have that set of mind. And once again, you need to do your own due diligence, your own investment evaluation. No one here is telling you to go and get involved in this, but this is just for informational purposes. Obviously, a lot of people will be getting involved. So it's just up to you, really. Yeah, you need to do your investment. It is highly speculative, so just take that into account. And like I say, there are pros and cons. And if you're happy with it, you need to make a decision. But don't go spending, you know, your rent money or stuff like that on it, because you know, that's just not the way to roll. Obviously, some of us are expecting some huge X gains, mad percentage gains, but they may not materialize. You just got to, you know, take that. I think the probability is they will, but that's just my opinion, right? So you've got to make up your own opinion and decide as well. So I don't want to get into that sort of area. So Alex says, yeah, highly speculative for sure. Nathan Evans, good morning, suit man. Hey, Nathan Evans, one of our first members. Yes, really appreciate the support. Can you delineate the idea of time-weighted contribution? I'm not exactly clear on how that will play out. So Rich has talked about it being possibly half an hour time snaps with the price. So if you put Hex in, for example, it would be time stamped on that price for that half an hour. So that's how he's talked about it. So I'm imagining that the allocation will be based on the time weighted price. So over every half an hour, over the life of the the sacrifice period. So whether that's 14 days or whatever it finally ends up being, that's how it's going to be calculated. So time weighted as opposed to volume weighted, where it's based on the volume that gets put in there over time. So hopefully that helps a little bit on that. So that means that the value can change. The value can change over time. So yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at this next question. JV says, do you know if I were to sacrifice BTC via Ledger, I can input my Metamask address as the Pulse location for them to send it to? Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that that you need to you're probably going to end up having to mint the Pulse. That's my view. If they're going to use the Howey rule, we don't expect anything. Just like Hex, we had to mint our own Hex out of the auction. That's how I'm expecting it to work. And Alex K says that's correct. You will generate BTC address to sacrifice to. Oh well, Alex is kind of answering the first part of your question. That's correct. You will generate BTC address to sacrifice from website connected to your MetaMask. So that will be linked. Yeah, that's true. So we basically kind of Alex answered your first part. I'm sort of answering the second part. It's kind of two questions in one there, so hopefully that helps. Let me know, JV, if that was answered by Alex and myself from the two parts there. Alex K, just make sure to use your only trusted sources. Absolutely. You got to. So what? So I might as well talk about this topic because it's related to what you're talking about, JV, and that is that you need to use a MetaMask wallet, and that you need to when you go onto the onto the Pulsechain site it's going to have a DApp on there web page that's going to be for the sacrifice, and for ETH and Ethereum you need to everybody's going to be sending their sacrifice to the same sacrifice address. So we're all sending it to the same address. But for non-Ethereum and ERC20 tokens, you have to nominate a unique address. So if you're doing BTC, you'll have to nominate a unique BTC address, that kind of thing. That's how it's rolled. So that's all on the Twitter stuff. We're going to get to that in a second. And then Alex K says, let's have a look here. Basically, the longer you wait to sacrifice, the less ratio you will get for your pulse. But of course, since it's US dollars based, it can outpace the curve anyway. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So basically, there's a penalty phase in the bonding curve, and so that's going to originally it was 4.25% per day. So we're going to see whether that actually holds up. And I've looked at a couple of other commentators, and yeah, they're sort of just still waiting as well, because obviously we had the draft parameters for the bonding curve, and we're still waiting to see whether that holds up. But I think it probably will. So we're expecting the first part, basically the first part of sacrifice. Get in early and bigger, and you'll get more pulse, relatively speaking. And then a couple of days later, after that first phase, there will be that penalizing ratio, so you'll get less pulse per US dollars in there, right? And obviously more certainty around putting US dollar stable coins, because you know actually the US dollar value. But if you want to speculate a little bit, then you're going to be doing non-stable coins, and obviously it's going to be priced on the time-weighted price that goes in over the period. So that's going to be interesting there. Hey, Justin Davis in the house, big super sticker. Yeah, love it. All right, can you give a brief description of pulse minting? Yeah, what I'm expecting is that we'll just have out of the US dollar C once. So let's say that the sacrifice runs for 14 days. So just based on the information, kind of what we know. Originally it was going to be 30 days. Let's say it's 14 days because Richard said it was going to be about half the time probably. Then we have a couple of days calibration, 2 days. What's the original amount, and then the third day was going to be a publishing. So we're just taking that as a good guide. Excuse me, a good guide. And so what's going to happen at the end is that just on like in Hex, we went into auctions every day. There was auctions runs for like 350 days, and we had to go in and bid our ETH in, and then we were trying to get Hex back out. And so what we do, I should actually bring that up. I might do that another day because I don't want to access too much stuff. But that actually we would then have a claim button and claim our Hex that we won out of the auction. And it's a bit like this, right? We're putting the stuff in. It's going to get calibrated relative to everybody else's stuff, and obviously it's going to be a higher pulse amount per USDC at the beginning of the sacrifice phase, because then that penalty bond curve comes in, giving you a lower rate of pulse per USDC later on. So that's going to be the way that's going to play out. And so at the end of it, they'll do a couple of days calibration of all the prices, time-weighted prices, all the US dollar sacrifice amounts, both stable coins and non-stable coins. And then on the third day, they'll publish, as my expectation, they'll publish all the results. And then you'll know how much pulse you'll be getting for your sacrifice, basically. And then they'll should have a minting coin that you can actually mint it, probably on the launch of the Pulsechain, when Pulsechain actually launches. Is when I expect that to be accessible. Now, how long is that going to be? I don't know. Is it going to be 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 days? We just don't know. Obviously, the public testnet is going to be launched as well. So these are based on the understandings that I've seen so far, communicated from Richard or through the Pulse stuff. So anyone else can add anything to that if they've seen anything else that I may have not seen. Hey, but a big thanks for the super sticker there. Awesome stuff. Hey, don't forget, we've just launched memberships yesterday. We had a really great launch there. We've got 9 members so far, trying to get that number 10. So feel free to be that number 10 one, and get welcome to the party and support this channel going forward. And obviously, Pulsechain is going to be a major topic for us well into the future. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I'm going to get some better graphics once Pulsechain, once stuff launches. I'm going to get some graphics up for that too, so it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so looking good there. Let's quickly go to moving on from here. So actually at the bottom here, you got trading and nomenclature. So Hex is known as EHEX, short for Hex on the Ethereum network, while Hex on Pulsechain is called PHEX, short for Hex on the Pulse network. So just remember, you got to get used to that lingo, EHEX and PHEX, some of the lingo you're going to have to get used to, for example. So cool stuff there. Now we're expecting obviously there'd be a Uniswap on there, so that we can actually do price discovery and liquidity pools. So there will be an ePulse ETH pair on the Uniswap on the Ethereum network, and a PETH versus PLS or Pulse pair on the Uniswap on the Pulsechain network. And obviously, so we need a Uniswap version on Pulsechain for Pulsechain, and we also need a bridge from Ethereum over to Pulsechain. So those things need to be in place as well. Now I think the bridge is probably the one that may not be there the first day. I'm not sure how that's going to play out when Pulse actually launches in the second, when the mainnet actually launches. So Pulse, the sacrifice phase is first, and then the mainnet is second. So we'll see whether those things launch all perfectly on time. I expect that they will, but we'll find out for sure. So I think that's it. Yeah, so here's the bridge stuff I was talking about. ETH can be traded on the Pulse network, and PLS can be traded on the Ethereum network. Bridging can also be done via smart contracts. So other people might set up bridges as well, but I know that Richard was trying to get a lot of economic energy going through the Pulse pair, so that that would give it even more value. Richard's also said that he's got some special game stuff theory coming up, some special new features. We don't know what they are. We just don't know what they are, and he always smirks when he says it. So we're just going to wait and find out what that is. Some of the secret sources that were. It's going to be pretty fun time. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let's quickly jump over to, this is Richard Hart's on YouTube. Now you can find us in the video description. Remember, when Sacrifice launches, you need to make sure you're on the official channels. So you've got Pulsechain, obviously.com. That's the main one. You got Pulsechain YouTube. Richard Hart YouTube. That's where it's going to be launched, right? You've got you got Richard Hart on Twitter. Okay, all these in the video description. You can check those and double check them, of course, to make sure that you're comfortable they're all the correct ones. And so that's the one there. And then obviously there's Pulsechain as well on Twitter as well, so you can see that there. So those are the main ones, and obviously you can, on Pulsechain, you can actually go to Telegram and get in Telegram. Now it turns out, let's see the news. This is some of the news here, and it turns out here, Pulsechain.com. This is only 3 hours ago. Pulsechain.com has more members than Hex Crypto on Telegram. So it's actually flipped. Pulsechain has actually flipped the number of people. But that said, remember that Hex is a very different product, and it has a big scarcity now. The holy grail of any project coin is that you get less amount of liquid tokens on the market. Remember, Hex is already developed to the point where it's very low, and many say below 5% now, which is kind of the holy grail place to get to, right? Most tokens are trying to get to that real parabolic rise. So just take that into account. So we're here we're talking about the fact that there are a lot of people now following the Pulsechain, and it's probably even bigger than what's on the Telegram by a long shot. But the other side of it is that it is different, but it's very exciting news. So pretty nice stuff there. And you can actually, let's just click on here, see if we can pull up the actual picture there. No, I'm not sure if it's going to pull up, but let's have a look. Yeah, so Hex has got 23,422. And I think hopefully the other image picks up. And Pulsechain's got 23,477 when this was posted 3 hours ago. So pretty awesome members, 23,477 members in Pulsechain Telegram versus 23,422 members in the Hex. So pretty awesome there. So it's finally been flipped, folks. I think that's pretty cool. Just shows you the momentum's getting there. And obviously there's many more people interested in it than just the people that sign up to Telegram. Awesome stuff. Justin Davis, what do I need to mint? You'll probably end up needing to mint the Hex. Sorry, let me rephrase. You'll probably end up having to mint the Pulse when the sacrifice phase is finished. Probably at the time when the Pulsechain launches, when the token becomes live. Obviously, there'll be a smart contract for the token. Hopefully that helps. Justin Davis says, just showed up to the party a month ago. All good, Justin. Hopefully that helps you with that clarity. You're going to have to push a button basically probably on the Sacrifice DApp that will mint the coins to your wallet, your Metamask wallet. And the Metamask wallet at the top, normally if you're on the Ethereum chain, it will have the Ethereum network at the top. You'll have to change that you'll have to change that to Pulsechain. And so that's what we're expecting. So you'll have to change your Pulsechain. You're basically switching the network because in your Metamask wallet, you don't have to just use the Ethereum network. You can use other networks. You can use Matic network, which is a second layer network. You can use Binance Smart Chain network on your Metamask. You just have to load the details, have the lead details in there. They have to be official details, of course, just like anything. But that gives you access in there, so having a different network. So hopefully that helps. There, I might actually pull that up at another time. It's a good question to show. But basically, you'll have to push a button and basically mint the Pulse, and it will go to your wallet once you've won it in the sacrifice. Let's call it win it in the extra, kind of like that crude terminology, but that's the way we go. Let me know if that explains it to you there, Justin. So basically, just going to push a button. It's probably the way I expect it to work as a mint. Because there's the Howie rule is applied where you're supposed to expect nothing. Because if you do expect something, then it becomes a security in most cases, unless it's a utility. So that's the way it works. Frosty Dog says, how can you sacrifice P-Hex? The sacrifice period is over. You can't, Frosty Dog. You can't. All right. Let's just jump over there. So that's pretty cool news there. I don't think there's anything else there. Yeah, nothing else particularly new since we talked about the actual launch. We'll actually go back down to that just for people that may have missed that. Let's jump back down here. Yeah, once again, this is the 12th of July, but don't fall for scams. Sacrifice is not started until you hear me say it to your face on my YouTube channel, which we already said is this one here. And of course, and at Twitter and Telegram channels, which we've already said you can get Telegram from this site here on the website. There's all in the links below. And as I said to you, confirm that they're all correct because I want you to be comfortable with that, of course. And don't fall for the fake chat rooms, fake direct messages, fake websites. And that brings me up to one of the posts up here that was very important. And here we are, folks. We talked about this yesterday about scamming, because if you're going to sacrifice your valuable tokens that are worth a lot of money to the sacrifice dresser, it has to be the right one, right? It has to be the official one. And so here's what happened is that someone already came up here. This is 12 hours ago. Richard Hart said, report this imposter, and it's at NinFX. This was just a scammer, and they set up a profile on Twitter that looked like Richard's, and they used similar heading. And they got a picture because a lot of people won't check the little username sign. They only had 31 followers, but people easily fall for that, even with the low followers. People just don't they don't pay attention a lot of the time to this stuff, especially if they're new to crypto. They're not used to checking everything. And so look at that, just amazing. So that's why I said it's very real. Very real. And if you notice on Telegram, you get a lot of people DMing you, all sorts of stuff. So just make sure you're using the official links. And now you think I might be saying this over and over, but it's really important because there's a lot out there So just want to protect yourself out there. Alex K says you sacrifice it by trading for a pulse after the launch. Yeah, that's correct. So Alex is spot on. Thanks for that. And Frost Dog says, okay, trade it. Yeah. So you can buy Pulse afterwards. Yeah, after it launches, basically, is another strategy. There's different strategies. Like I say, do nothing and you'll get your copy of your Ethereum tokens onto the Pulse chain. So you've basically got a nice free Pulse version of your ETH coins, and you'll find out what they're worth as the market prices them up. You know, obviously, I think tokens like Unicoin will probably be pretty attractive, being one of the most valuable ones on the ETH chain. But that's the way it's going to work. The other side of it is, of course, you can also enter the sacrifice phase, trying to get heaps of Pulse and become a Pulse whale or just a big holder of Pulse, and then trying to go for the mad gains to see how that goes, of course. And or you can just not enter the sacrifice phase and you can just sit on the sidelines and wait for Pulse to launch, and then buy heaps of Pulse. Maybe when it does a pullback or so, whatever, then you're speculating on it, just buying it like any normal token. So that's the way that will work. Frank's in the house. If I have Armor staked with ETH, will it recognize it in the MetaMask? I'm not aware of that, actually. Alex, do you know the answer to that one? I'm not sure. I'm not actually familiar with that actually at all, Frank. So unfortunately, I can't answer that. But maybe Alex has covered that. We'll see. It should recognize everything in your MetaMask wallet. It should recognize it all. So that's my first thing is should recognize it. But Alex may know. Justin Davis got it. Thanks. And obviously, it's going to be NFTs as well. Are going to be tradable as well. Smart contracts, because this is a system state. So we're going to see. It should be pretty extensive. Most of the copies of the Ethereum state. That's what making it a big deal, right? As there's been other copies of Ethereum, but not with the system state as in play. That I'm aware of it all. So that's a big play there. So it really is a big deal, and a lot of big market petitions are taking notice. Richard said that some of the big founders are also looking to go into the sacrifice of other tokens projects. So I don't know what the scale or scope of that is, how number of people or whatever, but he has mentioned that in a previous live stream on his YouTube channel. Actually, one of these videos here has got it. You can see I've watched them all. So there we are. You can tell that I do my own research as well. So there we are. All right, so that's the official ones. Now let's have a quick look at the Golden Child Hex. Now Hex is a bit special, not because it's going to get a Pulse airdrop, but because it's got small liquidity. People can push the price up, and also this Rich has also hinted theoretically that the Hex, that sacrifice, won't be sold back onto the market, hypothetically speaking, because that's all the terminology you can use. So that makes Hex a lot more bullish, not only for sacrificing for US dollar value and time weighted average price, but also for less Hex being on the market after the Pulse goes to mainnet launch, because the sacrifice address will hold after the snapshot, when between the sacrifice and the mainnet, will hold more of the Hex on both chains, because it will own the Hex that's on the ETH chain, and so you'll get that 5% become even less. So we don't know exactly what it's going to be. I'm just using numbers, but 4%, 3.5%, something. Who knows what will be liquid left? That just puts more and more pressure on price longer term. So pretty awesome. Now I know Richard's been talking about Hex, in the future. Being $1, $10, $100. I mean, he has made a general saying it's possible. And I think that's we're going to see where that goes. Obviously, if it does anything like Bitcoin or Ethereum, then those numbers are completely in play as time goes on. How long, when, who knows? Is it definite? Who knows? No one can say. But so far, the track record is pretty stellar, and therefore that's why you've seen a pretty nice holding up as well of Hex. Now I've got the daily chart here for Hex USD. And you can see that it's holding up pretty nicely at 8.6 cents. So it's sitting in here at the moment, and it's not not too far off the 10-cent mark. The green line there's the 10-cent mark. So it's not won't take much. But once the Pulse sacrifice things come out, the expectation, now it's obviously not investment advice, but it's that it's going to blow past that 10-cent mark, and people talking 2x, 3x, 4x. We just don't know. We can see some crazy stuff happen. You've seen it in crypto, those parabolics. But once again, when does it peter out? We don't know. And obviously, I think there's going to be a lot of volatility, probably a pullback at some stage. But when is it going to happen? Maybe post the actual mainnet launch, maybe in between the sacrifice and the Pulse chain launch. We might see some volatility there too. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe at the end of the bonding curve, we might see a bit of price pullback. So we'll see how it goes. But at the end of the day, if any hex that goes into the sacrifice address, as I say, Rich has indicated, hypothetically speaking, that it may not be sold in. So therefore, even longer term, there should be less liquid hex in there. Obviously, there's people staking hex, and it's about 9.6%, something like that. And obviously, some of that comes out every day, every month. So, but a lot of people don't. How many of them are staking? Well, we think they're staking longer because the average stake length of hex is actually getting longer and longer. It gets harder to get T shares, and that's all part of the gamification. That's part of the fundamentals. So there's a lot of factors taken. Obviously, there's going to be some short-term pullbacks. The charts can still suffer the same thing that many charts do with massive pullbacks. So just take that into account. But so far, so good. And I think that's probably pretty much the way it's going. We can actually see here on the US dollar pair on Hex, you can actually see the volumes. Obviously, we had some really big volume rises earlier. This is just on the USD pair. And you can see that we had some big numbers, 12, 30 million. That's come back down here at the moment. But are we going to see another bolt when sacrifice launches if people continue to purchase? It's the easiest one to move. And if it's the easiest one to move, you can move the Hex price really quick. And you can increase your USDC value, and therefore potentially get more pulse compared to, say, stable coins or other non-Hex ERC20 tokens, or even non-Ethereum tokens like Bitcoin, etc. So it's going to be interesting play there on the volume. Now I was just noticing the volume just tickering along the bottom there at 3 to 5 million per day, and on that particular pair. Obviously, there's 3 pairs, but that's where it's rolling at the moment. All right, so let's quickly go. Alex Case, I'm not sure what Armour refers to. Sorry, Maddox. Sorry, not Beric. Beric. Going back to Frank's question there. If it's on Matic, no. You need. Well, no. If it's on Matic, you won't own the coins. So you need to get them off Matic, and you need to get, because Matic's layer 2. You need to get your coins transferred back off Matic into the Ethereum blockchain at layer 1. So that's very important. Otherwise, it won't register your copy. You need to copy, if you're going to copy that over, want it copied free, that would get copied. You need to have it on their level 1 Ethereum blockchain. You can't have it on Matic. Very important. The other thing is that you need to have that sacrifice registered using a Metamask. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, cheers, Frank. Yeah, let me know if that helps, Frank, if that's answering your question finally, because I wasn't sure what Armour was either. Crypto.com, not zip code, sorry. Yeah, you might need to give a slightly bigger explanations there, Frank, because there's a bit short there. All right, so that's where we're at on that one. So that's some of the stuff there. Now look at the market. Now the market was going up for like a day or two, and here it is now actually done another little short-term daily profile. We just keep zigzagging up in here. Now obviously Richard wants the market to be in a good tempo. The higher the value, the total value of the sacrifice, the more valuable the underlying start of pulses really, or even though we have volatility in crypto. So we've got all those gains that we made in Ethereum have just been pulled back the last 24 hours. And so Ethereum's just over 2,000. Now, you definitely want to launch with Ethereum over 2,000. You really don't want it to go down. Just creates that psychological issue as well. So let's hope that it is within the next 72 hours, as some people are suggesting. But certainly it looks like this week for sure. And if we go back to Richard Hart's tweets, we're going to scroll right back down here. Let me go down here. So just remember, install Metamask now so that you can connect to the Sacrifice DApp when it's live. So that's important that you're going to do that. You need Metamask just to say that again. I'm saying a lot of the basics again, just so for people that are new to crypto, get that you do need to use your Metamask to interact with the DApp for the Sacrifice phase if you're intending on going in there. And of course, this was on the 12th of July. I really believe that sacrifice phase starts this week. Basically, next week is this week. So really big capitalized. So we're pretty confident. I have seen videos out there, talking about 72 hours and stuff like that. So it's definitely looking hot to trot, unless there's some unforeseen thing that Richard has. That's pretty much the way it's going to roll. But once again, I think also the trigger is also having a slightly better price. So he may even wait a day or two, just depending on what's happening at the market. But of course, if the market decides to slip down bearish, that's worse position than starting at any time. But of course, the sacrifice is over like 14 days, so you're going to get market changes anyway. So I think that at this level, he might just go for it. We'll see whether that happens tomorrow or the next day, but I think that's coming up pretty soon. Frank says, I apologize, I was using my voice on my phone. Oh, nice one. Okay, that helps. It totally helped. Thanks, says Frank. No, nice one there, Frank. And I'm in Vegas, and my reptilian is too. Great. Nice one. Hey, I don't know if you're at the Hex. They had a big meetup, the first big meetup at the Hex in Vegas. It looked pretty amazing. They even had tanks, real tanks, destroying cars. It was pretty hilarious stuff. Frank, I will transfer my Matic. Yep, good idea. And then you get your free copy. And it's probably now's a good time to do it as any. If you want to get that copied over the system state. Well, the snapshot is expected between the sacrifice and Pulsechain, obviously, because if they're going to do an airdrop for Pulsechain, it has the snapshot has to be before that. That's the way that's going to roll. Like I say, you can do nothing and just get the snapshot. You don't have to enter. No one has to enter the sacrifice phase. That's just for people wanting to try and get get a lot of pulse. That's the way that's going to work. All right. Now, I think when the price moves up to at the Pulse launch, it will go up and then pull back. But what's it going to pull back to? It's likely to pull back to something like an average buy price. So I'm not sure it's actually going to drop too much. I mean, it will be a dramatic. I think this is just my expectation, right? So I think it was going to go up and then pull back, but it's going to have a sort of depending on what happened in the sacrifice phase, it's going to help give it not a hard floor, but it's going to help give it a sort of an average cost to everybody at the end of the sacrifice. So I think that's going to give some sort of bottom before it starts to move up. And that's what we saw in Ethereum, right? When Ethereum had the launch, we saw that happen in there too. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. But that's kind of our only example that I can think of that's clearly like that. Francisco Nava, hey, good to see you, Francisco. Woo! Good to see you in the chat. It's been a while. I'm using the Brave browser wallet. Will that work? I'm not sure what layer that runs on. I would, if you're going to interact with the sacrifice, you need to use a MetaMask wallet there, Francesco. Alex says Brave Browser wallet is an older, customized version of MetaMask. Be careful when using it. Yeah, I would use a MetaMask wallet. That's what was the instructions. So let me go back. Let's be clear. Richard's been clear on that. Let's jump up here. Where did I go? Have I gone too far? I have. Here we go. All right. Install MetaMask now so that you can connect with the Sacrifice app on when it's live. So I'll post that in the chat. Boom. All right. So that's Richard's official tweet there. So I would definitely go with that. John Smith just dumped all the crap coin into Hex. That's hilarious, John. Nice one. Ready to sacrifice it to the sacrifice pool. So there we are. John's all in, and nice one there. I wish you all the very best, John. Just like everybody else, including myself. So very cool on that one. That's got to make me laugh. That one. Tommy A says, "Can I sacrifice directly from my ledger to the sacrifice address?" I believe you can through. I don't actually have a ledger running at the moment, but I believe you can. Alex might be able to answer that, but I believe that you really need it into the MetaMask. So because the ledger goes through the MetaMask, doesn't it, into the thing. So I think that should be fine, based on the way I know they work. I would like to send directly, says Tommy. That may be a question. If Alex isn't able to answer it, I'm pretty sure that will work. But if Alex isn't able to answer that, then because it's just another level of security, but that should work. Maybe a question for the moderators in Pulsechain Telegram. So obviously I don't know everything about this, the little things there, but maybe something. Just go on the open Telegram there and get onto that. So that's in the video link below, and maybe just ask a moderator that specific question. But that's interesting. I might ask myself as well. All right, but I don't think it should be a problem. Alex says, I think it should work with MetaMask. I do too. I think that should work because this is another level of security behind MetaMask running from there. Remember, all your tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, so they get copied over. But for the sacrifice, if you're going to sacrifice from that, you have to connect through, connect from your into the Pulse MetaMask into the sacrifice. So if you've done that before, Tommy, that should work. But yeah. Alex K says you can even use Metamask with your ledger. Absolutely. No, so that's why I think I have high confidence that will work. But once again, you can always ask the moderator on the Pulsechain Telegram about that. But it should do. Alex K says if we all share the same deposit address for ETH assets, then it needs to come from that wallet. Yep. That's right. So remember that the ETH and ERC20 tokens that you sacrifice will be going to the same sacrifice address that everybody will be sacrificing to. So imagine there's one pot, everybody's putting their ERC and ETH into that one pot. Obviously, if you're doing non-Ethereum ERC20s, then that's going to be going to a unique address that you're going to have to nominate inside the DApp. So we've already seen screenshots of that. I might pull that up if they're not too far down. Just bear with me as I scroll down the Twitter of Richard Hart. We'll scroll down there. I think some time back actually he posted that. I got to be. Hopefully it's not too far away. They're not the best screenshots, by the way. They're a little small and blurry, but that's what they look like. Let's go in there. There's some of Richard's wallets. Watches. That's kind of cool. There's those tanks I was talking about with the tanks coming. That was at the Hex meetup, going over the truck there. Hilarious stuff. Look at that full-on tank, and it was a great video. Check that out on YouTube. It's really good. But anyway, I digress. Let's just jump back here. Yeah, I knew it was quite far ago that he did. Oh, there it is. There's the video of the tank. I might as well just show you this briefly, even though I'm sort of sidetracking. So that's the sort of stuff they have at Hex meetups. It's kind of hilarious. You can see there's a couple of videos there. But I'm trying to find this the UI examples. Let me just keep scrolling. You can't say that Richard doesn't tweet enough. He certainly does. Yeah, not sure. Boy, it's a lot further down than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, maybe this wasn't a good idea afterwards, trying to find the actual UI. But hey, thanks for bearing with me, folks, while I try to look for this. Here we go. All right. I've got this on desktop, but it doesn't render very well. So yeah, man, when was it? That's a while ago now. Might actually be faster looking on the Pulsechain version. No, not finding that. No, not finding it yet. Oh, I didn't realize really this far down. Let me check the Pulsechain one. Might be a bit faster to find it. Here we go. Come on, you can show me. Here we are, folks. Finally found it. Woo! Phew! Thought I was never going to find that. Here we are. So here's the sacrifice UI that we were given back a little while ago. You can see that this is what the DApp will look like. So when we go here, there'll be a website DApp for that, and there'll be Pulsechain updates looking really great. So here's the sacrifice. You've got the connect your wallet. See this one here's connect your wallet on here, and then it's going to be select your network. So wallet connected, it says wallet connected. It's got your wallet address there. Then it says select the network. So you select the network, and that's what you want to sacrifice to. And obviously, if it's Ethereum type thing, it's all going to be the same address going to be issued. But if it's a non-Ethereum, then it's going to issue a unique address. And then it's got wallet connected there. Select network, so you can select the different chains that you need to do that you're going to sacrifice to, and then wallet connected. It's got that there, and then it's got the network and obviously the address. It looks like it's issued an address there based on this. And so that's all I think that's all the UI that we've been given as a sneak peek at the moment. It does have a few other things about validators when the Pulsechain is actually launching, but it's not really related to the sacrifice. So that was it really. So let me just get this. I'm not sure if I'm gonna. sure if I got a link there. Copy link to tweet. So I'm going to copy that. If you want to check out the UI yourself, there we are. So sacrifice. Let's put that draft. Sacrifice UI. All right, so that's you can check that out if you want to have a look at the images for that tweet there. So hopefully that helps. Tommy says, okay, I just don't feel secure using a MetaMask extension. I would be sacrificing Hex only. Okay. I guess the PLS would just be sent to the address it came from. That's correct. Once you claim it, I think you're going to have to mint it though. It's not. I don't think it's going to be airdrop because that would be not. I don't think that would fit in with the Howey rule very well. And I think it's going to be just like Hex. We have to mint it. That's my expectation. But you know, we'll see when the actual launches. And let me just jump over to, I guess that PLS, yeah, said that one. And Frank says, if I sacrifice, say, $40,000 total, does that mean I sold it? Am I taxed on it, or is it a loss? So Alex says, I think it is counted as a total loss for tax purposes, but consult your tax advisors. Yeah, so we're not tax advisors here, so we try to keep avoid from that. So it just depends on the country that you're in. Typically, a lot of countries have stuff taxed as an asset, so if you lose value on that, that'd be a loss. But once again, see a professional tax advisor advice on that. Tax is a very specialized area and obviously has legal ramifications, so just take that into account. So some places they have it as income, you know, assets. So it depends on which side of the way. Sometimes it's sort of a hybrid system. So just have to take care on that one. Daniel Hex, Axion. I know that the Sens Foundation is you can get, particularly I think maybe in the US, if you sacrifice via the Sens Foundation, you can get a tax deduction or write-off on there. So you can check that's a special part of the sacrifices to the Sens Foundation, which is the one that's doing the life and life extension stuff, health and life extension stuff. Richard's a big advocate of that, so check that out. You could possibly check that out on one of Richard's videos, and it's probably got a link to the Sens Foundation on that, or the Pulsechain. Check out the Pulsechain as another way of doing it. All right, let's see how we're going here. We're coming up to 1 hour, so we'll keep going for 3 more minutes as we just wrap up some of these questions here. And Alex K says, you better bookmark it at Axion Token. Absolutely, get into it. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button. It really helps with the growth and getting the word out there. And obviously, I think definitely this channel must be one of the most biggest publishers about Pulsechain. So get into that. Also, hit the bell, of course, and share the video if you can. The other side of it is, of course, just launched yesterday memberships to this channel to support the growth and promotion of all these awesome DeFi topics, including Axion, Pulsechain, Hex, you name it. We talk about everything on this channel. We're not tribalistic here. We just want to get the best value out of DeFi and educate as many people about it, especially newbies to crypto. We're not in the fall for scammers and this and that, and actually get the best projects, especially with market cycles as well. So if you want to become a member of this channel, hit the join button. Check out 4 different options. We've got Axionites, Elites, Heroes, and Krakens, which is pretty big. So pretty nice there. Obviously, get into there, check out the perks, and that's going to be fun stuff coming up later on. So it's pretty cool. Alex K. Well, Axion could choose to go there after launch, but yeah, no free copy. Yeah, we don't believe there's going to be free copy, but we do think that possibly Axion is one of the 2 that's going to be off as a copy, so-called copy. Although I say that, but the code's different and the product offering is completely different. Originally, it started as a basic CD, but it's very different now. So obviously, wrap Bitcoin dividends and stuff like that. That's Hex doesn't offer that stuff, and neither does Wise. Wise offers BNB airdrops. Axion offers wrap Bitcoin, and Hex does its own thing. So very different stuff there. All right, so that's the UI there. John Smith says tax on crypto is a very new tax area. In my country, account crypto is property and not currency. So like stocks, you pay tax on realized profit or loss. I'm really unsure with the sacrifice. Yeah, well, I would. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into that, John, but yeah, I think you're on the right the line of argument there. But definitely talk to your tax advisor and maybe do a quick call if you've got a tax accountant. Alex K says Tommy, you can make your MetaMask work with Ledger or use separate account and only move funds there just before the sacrifice. I agree. So I agree with Alex on there. That's probably the best way of managing that. Frank says thanks, all good. And it's John Smith. After the deed is done, I'm heading to a bank for help. Lol, the irony. Funny, it's funny, John. Man, you've come up with some really crackers today, John. That's really hilarious stuff. Hey, don't forget, check out the memberships for the channel. Let's get out there and grow. We're going to be doing a lot of DeFi topics on here. Obviously, Pulsechain is going to be fully covered because I love the thing. And obviously, if you want to catch me later today, we'll be doing the Axion auctions, the daily auctions. ETH goes into the auctions there, and we find out how much RIP Bitcoin dividends that we get each day as stakers of Axion. So it's pretty exciting. Minimum 8% return. And on top of that, we get 4 times a week wrap Bitcoin dividends and 3 times a week Axion dividends. The wrap Bitcoin dividends are claimable each day, so you can claim them anytime. So it's pretty fun stuff. So check that out as well. But everybody, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your support. Onwards and upwards. And man, it's going to be a fun week. Fun week. Hold on to your chair. It's going to be pretty awesome stuff. And hopefully we might even see you tomorrow. Let's just see how we go. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Alex, again for being awesome moderator. And let me just retype this again. We're getting in here. So we're just coming up in an hour. Very cool. And great to see so many people watching and supporting. We're going to try and make this as informational and entertaining as possible because it's going to be a fun journey. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And be safe out there. And yeah, have a good time. Line up yourself, get ready with whatever US dollar amount you're willing to sacrifice if you decide to go. And of course, otherwise you can just do nothing. Get your free copy of your ETH and ERC20 tokens when the Pulsechain launches later on after the sacrifice phase. So there's lots of different things you can choose to do. Very cool. All right, check out some of the other Pulsechain videos we've done in the past. If you want to look at other topics, we actually dealt with some topics more than others in the previous Pulsechain videos too. Cheers. Ciao for now. See you, Alex. Bye.